Good morning. It's about 10:40 here in Clarksville, Tennessee. We're going to try this again. This is the first time that I'm going to do a retake, and it's not because of the content, but it started raining yesterday. Um, and I guess I could have shifted it to indoors, but my element is really outdoors. I really love the outdoors. Um, it welcomes me, greets me every single day, and I just love its presence. Uh, there's something about being inside a house or a building that I end up having to go outside. Um, I'm not one of the persons that will sit indoors for too long. Not that I have to go, but it's when you outgrow a certain space, it becomes, uh, for lack of a better word, feels closed in, and you end up having to shift your position to a more open space. Okay. Um, so this is literally the first time that I'm doing a second take. Let's hope that the rain doesn't fall and decide to wet my computer again. Okay. Uh, I wanted to talk today about fundamentals of manifestation. If that word triggered something in you just now, just let it flow on by. We'll come back to it. Okay. Um, when you are taught in a classical traditional school, you're taught basic level. Although they call things advanced level, they only call them advanced levels in the arena of where you can measure it, you can test it, you can perceive it with your five physical senses. Okay. In non-traditional or non-classical teaching, you develop the desire to know more. And you've always had that desire, whether it was in the form of a question or a curiosity. You've always had some sense of there's got to be more than what meets the eye. There's got to be more than surface level understanding. And there is. Uh, some wake up earlier in life or awaken to that profound awareness that there's more than just what meets the eye, more than surface level understanding. To truly understand means to be able to wrap your knowingness around something in a higher perspective. Okay? Testing something, you can propose a theory, create a um, controlled test environment, and observe the outcome. But what you might not be noticing in the moment is that what is happening is in the outcome is based on the conscious observer, which is you, and all of the thoughts, feelings, emotions, beliefs of what is, um, all plays a crucial role in that. So if you are sitting outside and you are observing a tree, the beliefs you have in you will reflect how a tree is behaving before you. Okay? How it grows, how it soaks up nutrients, how it gives off energy, how it absorbs energy. Energy is super fundamental, and we're going to go into that in a later segment. But let's not derail too much. But I wanted to give that little imagery to give you a little foundation building of everything that we perceive with our physical senses is only in a very small spectrum of visible light. What I see in a visible light may be also the same thing what you see in a visible light. What we perceive beyond that visible light of what is occurring, that is called perception of the inner sight, intuitive sight, where you can see something occurring and you are perceiving it and resonating with it with your emotions, your thoughts, how you might value it. Okay? So let's jump into fundamentals of manifestation. To manifest something, and the reason why it's called manifest is because you, as humankind, are in the state of being of which you are at, drawing experiences into your present now. When you take intention and clarity and combine them together, you create an image with your mind. And in your mindscape, as you imagine it, you can even imagine it with dialogue. A lot of times it seems like we're talking to ourselves when we are speaking inward. We are, but we're also speaking to the various versions of ourselves, the various identities that we store and hold within us. The person you see today, right now, is not the same person that was yesterday, or a year ago, or 5 years ago, okay? And so on and so on. Every present now moment, you elevate or you drop in frequency. And at some point of these frequencies becomes your normal frequency, how people receive you. Sometimes in that, when you yourself, the conscious observer, is not fond of how you are evaluating an experience because of the way that you might be resonating with it, you have the free will to consciously choose to elevate that frequency. Okay? As you elevate that frequency, you are vibrating in a new state of being. And in that new vibrational state of being, you are attracting newness or new experiences into your life. That's how manifestation works. Okay? Subconsciously, you have been manifesting every experience in your life without even realizing it. Some of you may have realized some of the things that you have manifested in your life. But you haven't realized that since the moment that you incarnated into the world, you have been manifesting every experience in your life, every millisecond of experience in your life, through the power of your thoughts, the power of your emotions, at the state of which you are vibrating at, and in the frequency of where you are vibrating at. And then you allow yourself to be open and receptive to what flows in. Okay? How it unfolds is in its own intelligent way. Sometimes things unfold to give us a sense or sensory feeling, but not meant to be trapped in that sensory feeling. You're meant to experience it and determine if you want to elevate your experiences, remain the same, or drop. A lot of times we will drop in frequency at a young age because our external environment or familial attachments, social peers, or the arena of which the space we occupy in isn't welcoming of our uniqueness, of our unique expression. And all of us is a unique expression, okay? All of us is in the exact position and location we are meant to be in this present now moment. As we flow our energy out like a radio tower, okay? Sending out the signal with our energy, all of what we are. Every discharge of energy or outgoing of energy is everything about us in that flow. And what we send out is a boomerang, because we are not just the transmitter, we are also the receiver, in which we receive that which we send out. Your words have the same effect. As you speak your words, you are literally commanding. When you talk about yourself and how you think or feel about yourself, you are casting spells. This is why it's called spelling. When you spell out a word, you are casting spells on yourself to embody the identity of that which receives that input, and it becomes part of you. Those identities later give us a sense of limitation or a belief of limitation. And as we hold that belief limitation, more comes in, because that is our personal truth as we hold it within us. But those personal limitation of beliefs are not permanent. You can uproot them, you can transform them, you can transmute them, you can change them into a higher vibrational state just by changing the perspective of how you once saw them to a perspective of how this is for my ultimate highest good. Though I may not have been fond of the experience in the moment, it allowed me to appreciate the other side of the spectrum. You can't identify something without having an experience of it within you, okay? That's how identification works. That's where identity comes from. You identify with. In the fundamentals of manifestation, the first process, I'm going to break this down into chunk outline method, okay? The first step in that process is clarity. You got to get super clear on what it is that you want to experience in your life. You look at your life right now, and you are experiencing life as you are right now. But you might desire to experience a different version of you in the present now. What image does that look like? Does it have the image of being healthy and whole, loved and appreciated, abundant and financially secure? What is it in your life that you would like to see come into your experiences? So get super clear of what it is that you want to experience. Okay? Come up with all of the ways that it can come into your life through the various channels of ways that it can come into your life. Don't get trapped in the foothold of when it's going to show up, how it's going to show up, what manner it shows up in, etc., etc., because you end up putting a block on that manifestation. You say that you are trusting, but then you're trying to pick back up control. Okay? Have a clear understanding of what you want. With that clarity, you must also have an intention. Why do you want this thing? What is the ultimate goal that you are seeking to have this thing? Is it to have a sense of excitement? To feel a sense of belonging? A sense of value? Worthiness? To feel loved? Feel joy? What is your intention? When you have a clear intention, it's not that you're just intending to receive, because that which you receive you share with others. So how are you going to share with others in a positive manner? Finally, imagine it into form. If you have to take a piece of paper and sketch an outline body of yourself, donning the identity and the image of the person or the version of you that is receiving it in the present now moment. Not receiving it future moment. Not, you can use already has received, but you're going to fight with your ego, and you're going to fight with comparing and contrasting. The only thing that has no combative, no contention is the present now, because everything happens in the present now. The time frame of which you supply the energy for the manifestation to occur and attract it into your life is a little spatial gap. Don't get wrapped up in a time frame. Just remain open and receptive, and it will flow into your life in its own unique way. Okay? Second, belief. When you think of belief, how do you define it? What is its significance of meaning in your life? Do you associate belief with religion, philosophy, mathematics, science, literary art? All of those have beliefs. And in those beliefs of which you have been taught in a classical setting, you have absorbed those beliefs. And they become part of you. That's why you can do fundamental math. That's why you can process things at light speed in your brain. You don't have to think now of how to move your hand, because you've done it so many times that it became from newness to familiarity of muscle memory. Though you are still thinking it, and before any action you do physically, you've already thought of it, okay? But as you were thinking it, it's gone so fast and so rapid light speed that it appears like I didn't even have to think to move my hand. That's how things vie for your attention. I saw my coffee cup, and although it's just a coffee cup with coffee sustenance in it, it grabbed my attention. And in patterned behavior, I responded with my physical body to absorb the energy component of coffee. Belief is what you hold within you. What you say is true. What you say is. And you may have beliefs that are limited because you evaluated the experiences in a limited perception. So when another experience comes in, you may not identify with it because you might not be in the frequency of it in that perspective, but in a lesser frequency that you are most familiar with. You must develop the belief that anything is possible. And the way that you do this is by repeating it to yourself. Whether it's out loud, whether it's intoned, you magnify it by standing in front of a mirror or a reflection of yourself. You magnify the amount of times that you say it. When you were in school and maybe had speech class, people might have instructed you to rehearse your oral speech in front of a mirror, right? What you were doing is that you were equipping yourself with the information that already came out of you on a piece of paper, but you were familiarizing yourself with your content. And then you were speaking it in front of a mirror or even an audience, because even audience has mirror neurons, so they reflect back to you, right? And you compound the image. So when you go into the classroom, you're going into the classroom in the embodiment identity of the image that you rehearsed to give your oral speech. Those who didn't spend time actually doing it might have been unprepared, or had to keep looking at their notes, or it looked like they weren't authentic or sincere in their information. The truth is, that's backwards. The authenticity is the unique expression of the individual when they deliver their message. Believe you have the power within you. Believe that you have the necessary energy within you to manifest anything that you desire. The power of your belief will dictate how you experiences in life, how circumstances might come in. Now, some circumstances are unavoidable. They are meant to be there because you put them there prior to incarnating, because you saw them as potentials to draw up and elevate yourself into a new frequency. I can't tell you what those are because I'm in my own body. Trust beyond ordinary perception. What you feel with your physical touch. What you smell with your physical scent. What you taste with your physical tongue. What you hear in an auditory physical way. What you see in a physical optical way. Remember, you're only actually perceiving in a physical visual a very small spectrum of light. But the space beyond the spectrum of light that you become familiar with of observing is wider. Okay? So we rely on our physical senses to navigate the physical world. But our physical senses have been conditioned to control us into perceiving what is and what isn't. They're not inherently bad, they're not inherently good. They were meant to be there in your favor. Just you were conditioned in a classical teaching setting to not be aware of putting all your addictive control into your physical senses. When you sleep at night, you surrender your physical senses. But as you dream, you still feel in your dream. You still see in your dream. You may even pick up scents in your dream. Possibly feel like you are hearing conversation in your dream. But the truth is, you are using your inner senses. They have been there the whole time. Those are your unique gifts. The power to think is your unique gift. The power to feel is your unique gift. And you have so much more unique gifts that's within you that I don't even know what they are, because they're unique to you. Unique to your expression of living a life experience. Okay? Trust beyond ordinary senses. Cultivating the energy. Number 3. Cultivate the energy. Now, I don't mean go out there and work hard to produce the result. What I do mean is absorb energy of higher vibration that aligns to what it is that you desire. Do you want to be healthy? Eat food in alignment that is healthy and high vibrational. Do you want to release the limiting beliefs that you hold, that you may or may not be aware of? Empty yourself out. You release it, right? So you draw in energy through food, through water, etc., etc. When you draw in living energy, that living energy pushes out that non-living energy, or lesser vibrational energy. Okay? Emotions. Align yourself with the emotions that you desire to feel. Whether you use a book, a video, or you surround yourself with people that have those as predominant emotions, that every time you see them, they're always happy or smiling, or every time you see them, they're always extending love. If you desire to experience love and you have yet to really see what love is, you have a whole world of examples of where you can absorb information of love. Is that the kind of love that you want? Is that the kind of love that you want? That's your choice. Maybe you want a sense of abundance. Maybe you have had you have been stuck in limiting beliefs of lack, or you don't have, which lack is basically saying you don't have enough. I see in my hand, it's not there, etc., etc. That's the mindset of lack. Excuse me. So what does abundance look like? Use your external world as a tool, not people as tools. Use your external world as a tool. And as people perform themselves in the roles that they are embodying at any given time, you will be able to detect or pick up the signal. That's right, the signal of the state of being of which that person might be in. Be careful with this, because someone might be sharing with you in a direct connection what they are feeling in the moment. Understand that as someone reveals themselves and they make themselves vulnerable, expressing themselves of how they feel in the moment, regardless what they feel contributed to it, you are hearing what they are saying, but you are not combating because they feel that way. Your job is not to change someone else. Your job is to observe your own actions and the way that you behave inside and out. How you behave inside is a direct reflection on the outside. And people pick up that energy and reflect it back to you in their own unique way, their own linguistic patterns, their own expressions, their own body language. That's their uniqueness. What is actually happening is they are relaying information that you hold within yourself. And although you might not be in the vibrational awareness of being in that state of being, they are giving you an aspect of what you hold within yourself, so that you may go within. That's right, go within yourself and do the work. Changing something out there is not going to change what is within self. In order for a change to be experienced from out there, you have to have a change within yourself. Okay? That's where emotions come in at. Cultivate the energy of thoughts that support that which you want to manifest. All of the positive thoughts that it can come, that it is able to come to you. Supporting emotions. All of the ways that you will feel if that thing of which you are manifesting and receiving has already occurred. How would you feel? What feelings would it bring up out of you? Jump into that frequency of feeling. As you emit that frequency of feeling, you would magnetize it to you in that state of being. Okay? Supporting beliefs. Now this is going to be tricky, because you didn't know up until this point how beliefs behave, how they even get embedded into you. Beliefs are words fashioned with other people's energy, and you absorb them and they become your own. As you speak your words are interlaced with your own beliefs, your own thoughts, your own emotions. Everything about you in your energetic field and within you comes out in every single word that you speak. Supporting beliefs. What beliefs do you need to have in support, which means it supports that which you want to manifest? Okay? Not pushes away. If you are thinking negatively of this, you are pushing away the opportunity for that thing to come into your life. Okay? That experience. So you want something that is supporting. Okay? Supporting belief. I gave the example of believing it's possible. As small as a granule of mustard seed. Believe that anything is possible. Even if the external world dictates or contradicts what you have said. Because a belief is repeated. It's a pattern of repeating. As that first seed of belief gets planted in your soil, or you allow that belief to be planted in your soil, it becomes nourished. The way that it's nourished is by repeating or hearing the same sequence of words that nourishes that seed. That's where we get limiting beliefs. That's where we get high beliefs. Okay? Cultivate the energy. What food do you eat? What drinks do you drink? What activities are you doing? All of these supporting energies can be generated through movement. Okay? Walking in nature. Playing an instrument. Singing. Dancing. Lifting weights. Working out. Doing Tai Chi. Doing yoga. These are activities that generate higher vibrational energy to flow out of you. When you sit still for too long of a period of time, or you work, right? You come home, you eat, and you sit on the couch, you still have energy that you haven't used. So if energy is not being used, it's being stored. Because your body is intelligent enough to store the energy in the idea that you might change your mind and go for a walk. But then you go to bed, and you wake up the next day, and you do the same pattern, same structured outcome. And you don't use the fullness of that energy. And so it stores. And what does stored energy look like? It starts looking like almost like a bloated belly. Okay? And it keeps building and expanding. So we want to use the energy mindfully. When we eat food, why are we eating food? What is its purpose? What intention do we want the food to serve us as? Let that energy be cultivated in you as you consume your meal. Okay? With that intention of that meal, use that energy in a positive way. Whether it's going for a walk, whether it's meditating. Meditating is also movement energy, okay? It looks to the naked eye as you are sitting still doing nothing, but you are actually utilizing your innate ability to sift through your thoughts and your emotions and do internal work. When you do internal work, you use a lot of energy, okay? Movement energy in a physical way, non-physical movement energy in a movement way. Okay? I know, sounds contradicting. When you look at it in a physical concept way or materialistic way, it will be appearing as contradictory. But it will make complete sense when you actually do the work. Align your energy in support of receiving your desires. So remember I said imagine as if the thing already has occurred, right? Imagine yourself. How do you look? How are you feeling? How are you thinking? How are you expressing as you are receiving the experience in your present now moment? As you imagine it, the world has, or the universe has no choice in the matter but to bring it to you as you imagine it. How it unfolds is in its own unique way. Okay? You ever imagine feeling you thought something, you thought about somebody, then you felt a certain way, right? And you kept thinking, you kept feeling, you kept identifying a person in that same capacity. You started spending energy into a perception, an inner perception, before the experience ever occurred. The experiences that you experience is because you have already imagined them taking place, as if they had already been done. That's how you can use the power of your thoughts, the power to imagine, the power of your emotions to manifest anything that you want to experience in life. Okay? If you have a difficulty seeing a bigger picture of manifesting something in your life, start small. Start small. Whatever it is, with the intention and goal to elevate from small to large. Okay? Because what you are doing is you are cultivating new experiences. And as you experience, it becomes your new belief. Because belief is fashioned and formed back and forth between experiences, thoughts, emotions, and what you have determined what is, and how you gave it meaning and value in your life. Okay? Focus your attention on the image of you having already received it. Now, I already expressed this, but I said align your energy, right? So supporting thoughts, supporting beliefs, supporting emotions, that cultivates the energy, right? That's aligning your energy, right? Vibration, frequency, energy. Cool? Awesome. Now focus your attention. Focusing your attention means that you are giving your awareness to the image that you have given form. Okay? As you focus your awareness to the receiving of the experience that you want to receive in the present moment, stay focused on it. Even if something else seems to be like vying for your attention, or you have a list of things you have to do, whatever, for whatever reason, let that sit in the background. Don't let it come back up, okay? We will address it when we need to address it. Right now, you are trying to figure out what unique ways you are capable of manifesting things in your life. Don't just leave it to things. Bring experiences. Bring adventures. Bring newness. Okay? unfamiliarity. So focus your attention on that image. All right? If you have to draw it out, draw it out. Okay? Sketch it out. Sketch out a scene. Okay? How does a scene unfold? Now, you're not saying that your manifestation is going to occur this way, but it's going to have the same vibration of energy, okay, as it unfolds. All right? Next, you want to do what's called positive mindset charging. Remember I said that think of all the ways that it can occur. Positive mindset charging is literally that. This flows to me because I am worthy of it. This flows to me because I am deserving of it. This flows to me because I desire to experience it for my highest good, and the highest good because you share your experiences with other people, with all others. When you shift yourself from me to me plus, you now expand your energy bubble, your field, energy field, okay? A lot of times we're taught to shrink, right? Shrink our energy field. And as we shrink, we feel small. And when you feel small, you're controllable. Someone can tell you to do something, and you don't want to feel the resonance of lesser than, so you follow their command. And you become, for lack of a better word, a slave to the command of their words. And you don't see it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't clarify it. It requires a higher awareness in the moment to be aware of what is actually happening. A person's demeanor changes in the moment when you present something to them, and they can take it personal. You know, was there a better way of how I could have addressed this thing? Was there a better way of how I could have presented my message where it didn't diminish or it didn't contribute to diminish the person that I'm speaking with, but brought awareness to that person of the message that I have? You see, you're not taught how to communicate. You learn to communicate through other people. And sometimes you're going to meet one of those persons that the way that you communicate isn't the same way that they communicate. And that's okay. Because as you communicate in your unique way and they communicate in their unique way, you're going to find each one has their own lesser ways of delivering their messages and elevated ways of delivering their messages. Trust the process. You're not changing the person, you're changing how you perceive the experience. So positive charge mindset and emotions. Supporting beliefs, emotions, and thoughts needs a charge. What is a positive charge? The higher the frequency, the higher the charge. Charge everything with love. That's right. Charge everything with love. It doesn't matter if someone else has a different meaning or definition, or multiple meanings or definitions of what they think love is. Their love does not manifest experiences for you. Your power of love manifests experiences for you. Okay? Inspired action. Do that which aligns to what you want to manifest. And it has no choice. It has to go to the source, right? You send out energy, energy comes back. Gratitude. Give thanks for you have already received. Okay? That's it. Check in with me. Let me know how your manifestations work.